The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is firing back at critics after several utilities and some other high-profile companies left the group because of its opposition to climate change legislation. PG&E, PNM Resources, Exelon, and most recently Apple Computer have all criticized the Chamber's opposition to the Waxman-Markey climate bill and left the organization, and also as it criticized legislation now in the Senate. Energy Secretary Steven Chu praised the defection, saying he thinks the departures are, quote, wonderful. Well, Thursday, Chamber CEO Tom Donahue told reporters he believes environmental groups are waging an orchestrated pressure campaign to get members to quit. He also says the Chamber does support federal legislation to control and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, just not Waxman-Markey. Talking to reporters, he urged the Chamber to realize the economic opportunity that the U.S. can lead in a new industrial revolution. Clean Skies News Dan Goldstein outlines the controversy.
If climate change legislation has fractured the political landscape, pitting coal state Democrats against their own party and Northeast Republicans against theirs, look what it's done to the business community. Just in the past month, energy companies like Exelon, PNM Resources, and Pacific Gas and Electric joined companies like PSEG of New Jersey in ditching their membership with the Chamber of Commerce. They say the Chamber is on the wrong side of the debate.
And we were very disappointed that the Chamber's approach on climate change legislation had gone in a very different direction for quite some time. And when it came time for us to renew our membership, we evaluated that and made a decision that it didn't make sense for us to continue, given the importance of this particular issue for our business.
The energy companies aren't alone. Computer and personal electronics giant Apple this week, too, left the Chamber. Quote, Apple supports regulating greenhouse gas emissions, and it is frustrating to find the Chamber at odds with us in this effort, said Apple's Catherine Novelli in a letter to Chamber President Tom Donahue. As a result, we have decided to resign our membership, effective immediately. Shoe giant Nike, too, decided to step down from the Chamber's board of directors as well in protest, although they're staying as members. But it's not all symbolism and statement-making. Many companies see going green now by supporting climate change legislation means making more green down the road.
I think that a number of companies certainly are coming around to that perspective, that good, well-crafted climate legislation can actually create markets for clean energy technologies, create incentives, and give the country an opportunity to be a leader in this new sector.
Karen Harbert, who runs the Chamber's Institute for 21st Century Energy, says companies are making a mistake by leaving the organization.
It is true that some of these companies stand to benefit economically should climate change pass. And so if they are acting on that motivation on behalf of their shareholders, that's their business. It is our business to make our position clear, which is we believe that we need to be doing something very constructive on climate change that doesn't shut American jobs and keeps us competitive.
She says the Chamber isn't opposed to climate change legislation in principle, just the cap-and-trade plans that have passed the House and are currently before the Senate. She says it will make U.S. companies less competitive, and that when it comes to helping utility companies go green, they're better inside the tent than out.
Whether it's a utility, an oil and gas company, a nuclear company, a renewable company, they all have issues that the Chamber can help them advance. You look at a solar or a wind company, they're having huge problems in permitting. We are running front and center on that issue to get more transmission, to get more renewable facilities built in this country. So everybody has something to gain by having the Chamber supporting their positions.
Now, the Chamber of Commerce says with its 3 million members, it's not so concerned about the defections of Nike and Apple. The question is the energy companies. Will their defections be a trickle or a flood?
What we are seeing is that the business community is not lockstep against climate change. There are companies who believe that their business model will do well in this new, cleaner, greener energy strategy that the Obama administration has. Exelon, for example, is one of the leading nuclear operators in the country. Their low-carbon nuclear plants are going to do well under a carbon-limited environment. Similarly, PG&E is not heavily exposed to coal capacity, so for them, it's an opportunity as well.
Despite the defections, some energy companies like American Electric Power are sticking with the Chamber. Quote, we feel we get value from our membership, says spokesman Pat Hemlep. Even though we do not align with the Chamber's position on all issues, and we definitely don't agree with the organization's position on climate. While the ultimate fate of the climate bill still won't be known till 2010, one thing is clear. The more defections among energy companies, the easier it will be for climate change advocates to pass their bill through the Senate. Dan Goldstein, Clean Skies News.